I just grew up and looked around and went, hang on a minute. How the f*** these managed to keep a grip on this area, lad? They're all helmets, mate. All of them, though. Every single one of them, your Champs, your Mick Donnellys, your Patos, your Alan Farley. They just had this, you know, generational family name that gave them the substance. You've got to understand what I'm saying when I'm talking about that sort of thing. Every family that you speak about now got their reputation from 4 generations ago. So when you're in the Fitzgibbons family, they got their reputation off their dads and granddads. You know, they walked into the life of crime because the dad and the granddad laid the path for them. It weren't no hard task for them to just go in and live off that reputation what the dad have established. Same with the Farleys. You know, it was the granddads that established their notoriety and their name in the city, not these little helmets down here. They just lived on the back of their names. Same with the Bennetts. Same with all them crime families, besides 1 or 2 of them. You know, they come in on the back of reputations that was already established in the 80s and the 70s by the dads. Us, we had to establish our own. We had to do what their dads done. Do you understand? If we would have carried on, if I would have stayed in that life, we would have made the path for our nieces and nephews to just live on our reputation and have pull in the criminal world on the back of our reputation and tap into our network of criminals that we'd established. Do you understand? It's completely different from one of them families that think they're powerful compared to a brand new family that's trying to tap into it. These powerful families don't want this new family tapping into it, and that was half of our problem. We didn't come from a generational crime family. We were the bad apples in our big family. Our family was like the bad sheep of a wider family. Do you understand? So when we're tapping into that criminal world, we're forging our path. We're going through all the adversity and the obstacles to forge this path. Just like their dads did in the 80s and the 70s. These little helmets down here haven't had no adversity really. Haven't had no restraints. Haven't had no obstacles in their little criminal career. Why? Because they just got laid onto the path that the dads and their uncles forged. And there's loads of them. All them old school families, the lads that live on the reputations all the time. Yeah, they might get a little bit violent as they're going through this, because they've got to. But they're all knobheads. When it comes to the crunch, you bang them in a cell, put a 30 rec on the table, they're squealing. I'm telling you now, every single one of them. You go on a mission with them, you get nicked, you get placed in an interview, they get a 30 rec placed in front of them. Every single one of them is going to sacrifice you. Just haven't got it in them. They've never been to jail in the early years and that. They haven't had to go through this to forge that path for themselves. They've had it easy. You know, they were given graph phones. They didn't have to start a graph phone. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Different cloth. Completely different kettle of fish. Yeah, they might be notorious, but they lived on the back of someone else's reputation, and it was their old fella's name that gave them their name. And it's very hard for the G brothers to pop up in the city and start stepping on these well-established crime families that's had the city locked down for 50 years. All of a sudden, you've got this group of brothers that aren't attached, that aren't inbred in any way, that haven't got kids to nieces or kids to cousins that make them connected to your family so they can be spoken to and told to stop doing. Do you understand? We weren't attached to none of them. They didn't want us going to where we were going, and that's why they started shutting us down. And I'm not talking shit, you know. The way them Farleys and them police were attacking us, it's like they were working together. I'm convinced. Go back to 99. On Edge Lane, you had a gym called Heat. I think it was Heat Gym. It's one of them big gyms on Edge Lane. And I started going there with this kid called Snowy. This Snowy was part of these Farleys. You know, he was Champ's little Iran boy. So Ian Roster had a little Joey, and that was Snowy. And sometimes I'd spend time with Snowy because he was Billy's mate. And I'd go to the gym sometimes with Snowy. You know, I was getting my parcel off him when I was younger, my white. So I'd go to the gym with him a few times. I'd go in that gym and I'd see Ian Farley, Mick Donnelly, I'm not lying, Ian Rossiter, Eddie McCabe, Pato, and I'd see them all training with OSD. So the Mariah vans that was coming onto us and doing what they could to shut us down. You know, your PC Bird, your Mark Hughes, all these dirty coppers. You go in there to be training with McDonnell and them. I'm telling you now, that's the way it is, mate. I used to go to another gym as well. Don't think it was just the North End of snitching. I used to live behind the gym in the South End. Got myself an apartment, second floor apartment, facing the Jaguar car showroom on the Dock Road. And right behind my apartment block was a gym called Green's Fitness. So where little Liam Kelly got shot, on Liam Kelly's Road, at the bottom of there, you've got apartments and the gym there. I used to see the likes of Carlos Escoffrey and people like that training with Mato. Training with the Matrix. They was known as OSD back then, but they still had the yellow buses, still had the yellow Mariah vans. And they all used to go to these particular gyms, these OSD, and train together in these gyms. And I've witnessed loads of criminals from your areas training alongside them, with them, helping them lift the bar on their one rep and shit. So you can't tell me, mate. You can't tell me, you know, the world of crime in Liverpool is full to the brim with people that cooperate with the authorities. I don't give a shit what you say. I've been in jail 4 or 5 times because of them. You can't tell me any difference. And when you're not part of that network of people, they shut you down. It's weird, mate. Honest to God. You've only got to look at the history, you know, look at Warren, look at Norman Betterson, look at all these people. Do you understand? You see that Bernard Hogan Howe? He's the head of the Met Police now, or he was. He went from Merseyside Police. He came from South Yorkshire to Merseyside Police in 2003 to combat us. That's why Bernard Hogan Howe was came into Liverpool. When he combated us, he got promoted and ended up in the Met in London, the highest job in the land for a police officer. But that Bernard Hogan Howe, he's come onto our estate one morning. So our estate was like a 24/7 crack then, if you like. Let me put this battery in. So all the phones were gone. We didn't use the phones, you understand? It was just everyone stood on our estate. And there was all mad shit going on. You know, there was a lot of shit getting took to the police. The police were getting it took to them, basically. And we were getting responsible for what was happening around the city at that time. And where the graft was, we had loads of houses, but I had a flat above the mini market. I had the whole top floor. And I just watched the graft from my window. And some of the kids, like little Perry Dillon, had a CB in his room. Craig had a CB in his room. I had a CB in my Mars and one of them, you know, like a 4-way CB system, radio walkie-talkies. You know, because the phones were always getting took. The phone would be in the graft and it'd be punters coming, you know, across these airwaves. So anyway, we're just ruining the area. You know, it's not a good thing what we're doing. I'm I'm not bigging it up like we've got boxed or nothing like this. We were ruining the area. There was a crime scene every other night on our estate. This is what I'm saying to you. So everything's going off, it's going madness. The busies are coming on the estate, they're stitching people up, they're doing all this, they're targeting another group down there. So there's a lot of IEDs getting placed around the city, outside, police stations and other places like this, explosions. So we got a squad put on us. And the first time I ever seen this squad was when I woke up about, I'm awake, just put a joint in me. It's about 20 to 8 in the morning. The punters are lining up, starting to get ready to be served. Understand what I'm saying? And I just I'm thinking, what's this? It's horses galloping, slow. So I come to my window, look up towards me lane, and I'm not bullshitting you. You've got this Bernard Hogan Howe on a horse, and he's got his full attire on. You know, his big, mad, crazy uniform on with all these things across it. And then you've got, it's like a pyramid. You've got about 4 or 5 horses with these high-ranking officers on. Then you've got coppers on feet, like in a V. Then behind them, you've got a rack of Mariah Vans. Then behind them, dogs. Then behind them. I'm not lying to you, mate. They come down like a V down Robson Street, walking towards our estate. And it was like some sort of military exercise. It's like when they've got to a certain point, they've all just went, spanned out and put like a human chain round the estate, and then all walked in on their hands and knees like that into the centre, searched everything they went past. Everything. Honest to God. Went deep on the estate for 2 days straight. Nicked 187 people, recovered so much in this, so much that. It was madness, mate. And it's all true, it's all fact. That Bernard Hogan Howe had it in for us, cheese. And he's still got a problem now. Never get past such incidents like what occurred in the city around that time. If you've been put into the picture, even if you wasn't in the picture, you know, if you were just outside the picture, MI5 and Special Branch are not ever gonna let you move properly. And if they're convinced that you're hands-on with whatever happened, they isolate you like they have me. They make everything 10 times more difficult for you to live normal. It's weird, mate, what they do to you, that Special Branch. Well, it's not weird, it's just a nice experience. I mean, it's a learning experience, not nice. And even when you're in your jail, you know, you think you go into jail, if you're on MI5 and Special Branch radar, mate, they're doing mad shit to you in your mind on purpose. You know, when you're in jail and you're doing long time, the system's got it in for you, and you sit there and you think, the cunts are withholding me mail. But you just let it go. Nah, they won't be. I'm just not getting no mail. But they are withholding your mail. And these are little things that they do to wreck your head. Do you understand? So all of a sudden they've held your mail back and you've got a visit. Knocking on your door, you've got a visit today. Oh, have I? I didn't know. They've sent you a letter, you just haven't been given it. Know what I mean? So that, without you understanding, you going out on your visit looking rough, it's a good move for them. So when you're bang on, if they can get you going out on your visit rough and not looking yourself, they can understand just how loyal your friends are. Because they're not just monitoring you, they're monitoring the people that's walking out the visit room and getting into that car that's bugged. It's only bugged because these have been coming to visit you and you're on their radar. But when these kids are walking out the visit room, getting in that car, which is basically a recording device, and they're giving you shit for looking rough, Ba ba bam, he's changing. Ba ba bam. Is there an angle where we can get in, convince one of these to become a snitch? And this is what they do with your audios. Identify the not so clever ones out to you and approach them behind the scenes when you're not with them. And they'll get turned into HIRs, human intelligence resources. And once they've slipped a beat for them, that's it, they're finished. You know, they're basically getting blackmailed now and they can't really turn back the clock. You'll have them sitting around you. You'll have them appear, sit round the table when you're just all associating, all of a sudden he's in the pitch and listening to the conversation. That conversation mightn't be to you, you know, anything that can put you in the picture for anything criminal, but it's the intelligence. It's how you feel. It's how you think towards this group, how you think towards this situation that's gone on here. If that policeman gets shot dead down there and your group's talking about it like it's great, they know your ideology. They know how you think. And this is what most of the audio intelligence does for them. They mightn't act on it. They mightn't get nothing off it. But what they do get, it mightn't be evidential value, but what they do get, they get to know the group. Just like they've been sat in your house. They'll get to know who's the more dominant, who's the weaker one, who's the one that's gamer, who's the one that's taking the money here, all this sort of shit. So you need to really understand that, you know, there's a lot of people around us that are talking to the feds. Honest. You know when you get nicked and you automatically jump to your phone. When 6 or 7 of you get nicked, first thing you do, phones. It's the first thing you think about. And what the police do, they go out their way to find anything to do with the phone so it covers the snitch. So in your mind, it's the phone evidence that's got them here. It's the phone evidence that's linked them onto you. Every squad that gets put onto you, it's because a snitch has put them on you. That's the only reason they get put on you. Trust me, if you're going in a life of crime, if you're committing a life of crime and you do it alone, you'll never get caught. The minute you start working with others, you start getting caught because people snitch as soon as they get put into the shit. So let's think about this, look. You know when you're younger and you're growing up and you've got this group with you and you've all got no dough. Right? You're all in shit street. Okay? You'll go out, you'll graft, you'll get nicked, you'll get dragged into the interview, you'll go no comment, you won't say. They'll give you that little, they try you with everyone. The tape's off now, do you want to tell us anything, we can get you bail. They do all that. If you're real, you go off your rats. That's the way it used to be. You're growing up, you're growing up, you're growing up. Some are making money, some aren't. Some are establishing themselves materialistically, some aren't. Some are getting caught up in the materialistic world, some are not. Some have got the dough, they're just not like these soft cunts in the nice cars and all this bullshit. You know, very comfortable. Now they're wearing house coats and slippers as they answer your front door. This is how comfortable they've got, and this is how dependent they've become on that materialistic world. You know, when the feds get that type of individual, put that type of individual that's never been in a prison cell, when he gets put into a police cell for 24 hours and he starts getting told, you see your 5-bedroomed house will be gone. You see your cars, gone. See you, 20 years in prison, gone. See your girlfriend and your kids, finished. Unless you cooperate with us. You know I don't need to tell you. If you're real, you know that crumbled. You know what they're like for the money. You know what they're like for the materials. They're snitching all over the place. The majority of these drug dealers, they've not even been in a police cell in their lives. Do you understand? They've never been in a prison cell. The minute they get put into that isolated surroundings and environment, they're squealing. Going to start rattling for the substance. It's the same as that weasel that's materialistic. He's going to start rattling for his comfortability. He's going to start going to bits because he's not in his luxurious house and he hasn't. Do you understand? Honest to God, it's the same effect. That's why there's snitches everywhere. Snitches everywhere. Honest to God, I'll tell you straight about Liverpool. I'll tell you straight about Liverpool. I've been getting snitched on all my life by the criminal fraternity in the city of Liverpool. Since the age of 15, I've done about 4 or 5 different remand terms for different drug dealers who have made statements against me and put me in custody for 6 months on remand because their people are telling them to. I had the Farleys encouraging their grafters to make statements against me to get me in prison. This is what it was like when I was younger growing up. So don't tell me the city of Liverpool's not full of snitches, mate. I don't need to say no more. Trust me, the real people in the city of Liverpool will tell you exactly the same. The majority of them powerful families have been working alongside the law since I was 10 years old. Before I even went into the criminal world, they've been working with the law. Honest to God, mate. And you see them, you know, they're getting all these licenses to set up shop all over the city like they've never shot no one or they've never distributed tons of drugs. All of a sudden, they're getting legitimised by the council and the police are granting them licenses. The police are giving them authorisation for this club, authorisation for that alcohol licence, authorisation to open that bar till 5 in the morning. Or, do you understand? You know, it is what it is. Anyway, it's a bit late for that, isn't it? 125. Their dirty little world. That's why I encourage you to come away from it. Swerve it. Trust me, lad. They run round getting used young kids into the mindset, don't grass, don't grass, don't grass, don't grass. They're sacrificing you right across the board. You've got kids doing life for dickheads like that and they've stopped looking after them. They make excuses. Oh, we fell out. No, you never. You just needed to remove yourself because you feel guilty because that kid sat there doing a life when it should have been you. And they just bail on them. Prime example, little Scott Walker. Scott Walker is not a murderer. We ain't even at the scene of the crime. He's doing L plates. The people he's doing the L plates for, Sanjay Gilboy and E&G, jogged him on, shit on him, scared in case he's talked. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And that's just the way it is, people. I've told you, look, even when I was out, I had the lows trying to get me put in jail. Just like the police. I watched Danielle Lowe ring the police after she tried to bonnet me. I had it all on video. After she tried to bonnet me and all this, I watched her call the police, sit where she was for the police to arrive. The police escorted her to Walton Lane Police Station. I watched her go in Walton Lane Police Station. An hour later, I've got a warrant for my arrest for threats to kill. Dave Lowe had told Danielle Lowe to make a statement against me and get me put in custody on breach of licence. Luckily, a video they're trying to bonnet me for nothing. And this is the way it is. So don't tell me the drug game's not full of snitches, mate. I've just made too many valid points for you there to understand why that world is full of snitches. They're not real criminals. Yeah, you might have a few armed robbers from years ago tapped into the drug world, but the majority of them drug world, they're not like us. They're not real criminals. They've never done no pavement work. They never took no risk, never sat in a cell. They're just dirty, greedy, fat, horrible eating bastards who are willing to make your kids take the risk for them. So there you go. Peace out. L5 out.